Good afternoon. This is Debbie Broughton, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from St. Robert, Missouri. I'm hopping on here just a minute or two early. Demonstrator from St. Robert, Missouri. And so now I can turn off my speakers on my laptop because I just want to be able to see the comments. And I even got on here pretty straight today. Kind of have some of my things showing up here. This is like my little catch-all where I put things. I'm telling you, these little dimensional papers get all over. Well, my laptop says 1 o'clock, so I'm just going to go ahead and get started. I've just been having so much fun with this new set called Switchbugs. Here's the stamp set with Hello Friend, Love You Lot, Spread Joy. And then it has all these different bugs and insects that you can stamp, plus some flowers. And these are the dies. Just look at how many pieces that you can cut out, and there's some of the DSP where these dies will work on. So today, I think I had 8 cutouts, and I had 7 of them I could cut out with the die, and 1, the green, or the ladybug holding the flower, does not have a die. And I figured out what they all go to except for, I think it's this one that I'm still trying to decide what it goes for. Here's like the 3 mushrooms, the ants, the other bugs. This is the one I'm just having a little bit of trouble deciding what it goes to. I know that this goes to the watering can that the bee flies around with. But I'm really just having trouble. You know what this might be? This one, now that I look at it, it might be this one right here with the grass and the flowers, which would be so cute to be able to cut out. So I'm going to have to try that when this video is over. If you're joining me, if you could say hello in the comments, that would be really great. I love to hear from people. So let's talk about what we're going to make today. We're going to make this little pop-up card in a card. So you basically have a card base here, and then it has this little card that comes out, and then this pops up in the middle so that it will stand like this. But look at all these little things. The only one I couldn't cut out was this little ladybug here. Everything else I used the dies on, which makes it so much faster than having to fussy cut. I only had to fussy cut that one. And when you close it, you want to be sure to fold that in, because it'll pop back out when you open it up to like make it stand. It will pop back up. Now you might think there's really nowhere inside this card to write my greeting or anything, but you can always add a piece of white or vanilla on the back and make that be like the inside of your card. So let's get started. First of all, I'm going to tell you the measurements of everything. Let me get my book out here. I'm going to put my book over here so you can take a picture of it while I'm explaining to you the sizes, because sometimes if you take a screenshot, then you'll always have the only thing here is this is supposed to be 3.5 by 5.5, scored at 2 3/4. At first I had 3 3/4, but that was wrong. So we're going to start out with the base, which for me is the pecan pie, and it's a 4 1/4 by 5.5. Then a card front, which is my old olive, which is always 4 by 5 1/4. Then this little piece that's going to go down here on the bottom to make the pocket is 2 by 4. And then for vanilla, I have, this is 3.5 by 5.5, scored at 2 3/4. So it's perfectly centered. And then I have the pop-up thing that's vanilla. And it is 4 inches this way, 1 3/4 up and down, and I scored it a 1/4 from this side, a 1/4 from this side, and then in the middle I scored it at 2. So let's see what, and this is a label from the Forever Florals that's going to come out in March. It also comes in the Stampin' Up! Virtual Card Retreat. It's one of the stamp sets that you get, and it's got this great label. Then I have these little 2 checkerboard pieces that are cut from the DPS, and they are 1.5 by 1.5. And then I have the card here that makes the little card. It's just DSP, and it is 4 by 6 scored at 3, so it folds right in half. And then here, I put all my bugs and everything in this little baggie because I'm forever losing things when I just try to keep them laying on top of all my paper or something. They seem to get lost, so I decided I'm putting them in a little baggie so I don't have to recut any. So now, if you've been able to take a picture of this, I'm going to move my notebook and we'll get started putting this together. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do some gluing. So for sure we know we have to glue this to this. This is the pocket, and we have to glue this white piece inside the DSP. So before I forget it, I'm going to use my bone folder on my DSP just so that it will lay flat. And we'll get started adding some glue. So we're going to add some glue here. Now for our pockets, we just want to kind of make one little line on each side and then across the bottom, because we want our card to be able to fit in there. The vanilla, I'm going to go ahead, I'm just going to lay this down for a second. I'm going to use my bone folder on this so that it will stay. And I'm going to put some glue on each side of this. Actually, I'm going to put it on one side. I'm going to put it inside there and glue that down, and then I'll glue down the other side. That helps me to get it in there more evenly. Okay, so let's put some of this together. We're going to take this piece, the old olive piece, and put it on the pumpkin, not pumpkin pie, pecan pie. We have too many pies, peach pie, pumpkin pie, pecan pie. We just have a lot of pies in our names at this go round. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to take this piece and we're going to line it up with the bottom of our old olive from side to side. And we're just going to kind of firmly press down so those, well, that's not going to work if I get a cricket. So that, look at me getting glue all over everything now. I must have put way too much glue on there. It seems to be working its way out everywhere. And you know what? Somehow I've lost my embossing buddy. I'm just going to clean this glue I got up on my glass mat. I'm just going to clean it up here real quick so that I don't end up sticking everything in it. I just have these little alcohol pads, and they work great when you just want to quickly clean up some glue that you got. And it dries really fast. I must have had some down here from another time. Okay, so let's let that dry a little. And what I'm going to do for this, how I got some sticky up here, and I really don't want to have sticky up there, is when it dries, I'm going to use, I could use my embossing buddy if I knew what I did with it. Oh, I just found it. How about that? See, I just need to get on one. Okay, so I'm going to let this dry a little bit, and then I'll hit it with my embossing buddy, and it'll take away any stickiness. I don't want to do it when it's too wet. That one was dry there. Okay, so let's continue on. Now next we're going to take our little card front here, our card, it's not just the front. We're going to fold this in half. We're going to fit this crease right inside, right on that, the crease that's already there, and you want to kind of center it. You want to have your glue side down, and you want to kind of center it up and down. And actually it's about, you have about one width of these stripes to get it even in there. So now I'm going to add glue to this side. And if everything works well, it should come out even on both sides now. We shall see if this works. Okay, there we go. See how now we got it all even in there. Our next thing is we're going to work, and we want to take our bone folder, maybe see if we can crease it a little bit more since now it's thicker. It's probably not going to lay perfectly flat because of the extra bulk that's in there with the vanilla paper being in there. So next we're going to take our pop-up square here, and we're going to fold it in half. We're going to fold it, these pieces inward, the edges. This one really goes together fast after you have everything cut out. It doesn't even really take that long to cut out the little creatures because they're kind of, you can kind of just trim around. I'll show you that piece of DSP. I've used a lot of pieces out of it, so I don't have much of it left, but let me just show you what I mean. This is the piece. It would be a whole 12 by 12 piece. And so like, see how I just cut this out here? That's where I got almost everybody to do this card. And then my other card was up here and down here some. But I just kind of cut around it. Then I lay it on my cut and emboss machine and put the dies on and cut it out. So, all right, now we have this piece ready. Let me try to remember how we do this piece. So what we're going to do for this piece is we are going to do like what we did for the other piece, for the vanilla piece. We're going to put a little bit of glue on this flap right here. And we're going to, we want our center lines, folds to be lined up. And again, I got some glue there because I was talking. And now I'm going to flip this over and put just a little bit of glue on this one. This is almost a new bottle of glue, so that's why it's coming out so fast for me. And I'm going to lay that there, and then I'm going to close it and kind of give it a rub on both sides to hold that. But now we have to let it dry before we try popping it up and everything. I learned that from my last one. If I try to make it pop out too soon, it comes off. So see, you can't really have it closed like this, it'll stick out. So to click in there, and then when you open it, it'll pop up. And then push it back down to close it. Again, we're going to kind of do the bone folder just to try to crease it as much as we can. Okay, just wanted to be sure it still pops up. All right, so yeah, it's not going to close now that it has that pop up in the middle. Now we're going to take our embossing buddy and we're just going to kind of pounce it up and down here where I got some extra glue. So that it's not sticky anymore. A little bit of this powder gets on there and it is not sticky. All right, so let's finish. So we're going to take our label here and we're going to use Old Olive, which I think I have out here. Oh no, I have Garden Green instead of Old Olive. Let me get my Old Olive stamp pad. Got my greens mixed up. So, we're going to use this Hello Friends. And we're going to kind of put it down towards the bottom a little. And we missed the H for hello. I think that, okay. So that's okay, paper has two sides. I'm trying not to get my head in the picture. There, now we got it. Because I see what I forgot to put on this one. Let me find it real quickly. While I'm here. I know I just bought they're the little ladybugs. Here they are. Nope, that's not them. Oh, I know that they're in here in I have so many embellishments. I really need to start using them up. I don't know why they wouldn't be in here. But I don't see them yet, but I'm still looking. I need to start using some of my embellishments and quit buying more. But they always come out with such cute ones that you want to get them. Okay. I must have laid them somewhere, but I have this sampler that I got. And it has all the new embellishments that come out. So here they are. They're just like little bitty ladybugs. And then you also get some clear water droplets with them. So we'll put one on this card and one on the card I already made. So we're going to glue the label down. It's going to bother me now that I must have laid them somewhere when I had them out. So we're going to lay this down here like this. Move it as far to the right side as we can. And now we're going to use some dimensionals, which I know I have dimensionals. And we're going to get our caterpillar out. Now this time it's a yellow caterpillar, just because that's the one I cut out. They come in different colors. So we're just going to pop this up with some dimensionals right here. And I'm going to tell you, these bugs are pretty easy to line up with the dies too. Sometimes I have trouble with that and I get too much white and I have to go trim them. But I did not have that problem with these bugs. this time. Maybe I was just more careful. Okay. Let me take off all these covers. Oh, I already did. Okay. And so we're just going to pop him up right here. Now we don't want to pop down. I should have left the cover on this one. Wonder if I could fit a cover back in there so that it doesn't stick to your card when you put it in there. I'm just going to try to, well, you can see it's sticking out there now. There we go. What I might do is take my embossing buddy and dab that dimensional. So that's the thing. Be careful that you don't get them where they're going to stick to this part. That one's just going to stick a little. So hopefully we saved it. So now let's come to our inside. And we're going to put on our little squares here. Put one on this one. It might have been easier to put the little squares on there before we put it in here for future reference, but it's not too hard to put them in there now. So, there we go with our squares, and see how they're going to look when they pop out. You want to be sure that you get them down there nice and tight. Okay, so there's our squares. So next, what are we going to do? Let's see how we decorated the inside. Okay, I have the little bee with the watering can up here in the corner. Here she is. And we're just going to put, and you want to be sure not to get too much glue because you don't want glue squishing out all over when you close this card. So I'm going to be very careful with my glue. And I'm going to put her up in this corner. And now she has this little bitty watering can that she's watering the plants with. So we'll just put a dot of glue on here. Now you could just use glue dots if you didn't want to mess with the glue. Just going to kind of put that up there so it looks like she's turning it. I'm going to have to do it like this so I can see. I need it a little bit closer to her hands. There we go. Now she's watering. We have this flower here. I'm just going to put like a little dot of glue on each blossom and on each leaf. You know what you could do too is cut these out with the adhesive sheets on the back, and then they would just be like stickers and they would be so easy to put on. This one we're just going to kind of put in here so that some of its leaves go behind. Then we have the ladybug reading the book in the corner. I think it's this one. Just going to put some drops of glue on him or her. Put her sitting down here in the corner, reading a book. Now this green bug, I am going to let his head pop up over the top, so I want to be sure not to get any glue on that. Just glue on the bottom, otherwise for sure it will glue the card shut. And if you want to, you can make him sit all the way down and then you wouldn't have to worry. Then over here on this one we have the ladybug with the flower. On this one, I put her here, but her flower, it was at the end of the paper, so the flower didn't show, but this time I'm going to have to put her on the other side because she has the flower in this one. So we'll put her there, and then all we have left is the little bitty mushrooms. And they're going to go down here. And voila, we have our pop-up card with all our little insects and bugs and stuff like that on the inside. I hope that you'll want to make this card, and if you do, if you could post it on my Nana Stampin' page, I'd like to see it. And I was on Instagram and I saw a reel for this card, so I had to watch it like 20 times to try to figure out the measurements, and then I did it with scrap paper, and then I finally tried it with real paper because I didn't want to waste my DSP or anything if I couldn't get it right. And I see over here I also got some extra glue, so I could try to take it off with my glue eraser here. But I think that the easiest thing to do, that's more easy to do when you get the tape, is just to take my embossing buddy and tap on it and get enough powder on there so it's not sticky anymore. There we go. All better, but that's just what you have to be careful about when you are making the inside. Oh, and I know, we're going to put the ladybug on. We could have put some ribbon on here too. I didn't really think about it when I was making it. I was so intent trying to get it to come together correctly. But let me see, where did I put that? We're going to put a ladybug right up here on the top of the hello. And as soon as I get off, I'm going to really be looking to where I put my whole pack of ladybugs. Because now I've used up all these samples that I bought. It's packing all over the place. There we go. And if we wanted to, we could put, what else could we put on here? Here's some of these. We could put just these red circles here. We could put one up here. Well, we really don't want one there. We could put this one over here on this flower. I guess we could put our ladybug on the flower too if we wanted to. So let's decorate the other one. I could use up these samples that I got. We'll put this one up there. Well, flipped over on me. Up there. There we go. Now we have our card finished. Like I said, if you have any questions or you want to know more about the Sweet Bugs set or anything like that, just comment below, and I always go back and read my comments, even if it's the replay. And have a great afternoon. Let's just see if this is still working. Yep. I want to be sure that I didn't accidentally glue anything down. Now I have 2 new cards to send out this month.